What's up, guys? Rupert here, and I thought I'd go over the build in more detail. So, here we are. This is my Rend Abattoir of Zir build. So I found a new helmet, a little bit better one, but we put might on the helmet. And in my opinion, you want strength, total armor, max life, and cooldown reduction. Disobedience, this one's the same, but you also want total armor, max life, and then if you need any of your resistances capped, put some resistances here or here, and then with the boots I always do triple. Anyway, and then after that, if you have anything for damage reduction, that would be great. I would take defensive stats only. And for our gloves, I would do, again, strength, attack speed, critical strike chance, and ranks to Rend. These are perfect. The only way these would be better if they were completely maxed out, but that's good enough. And we do the expectant because we use basic and then we use core. So this is perfect. And the protector, I was going to get rid of the protector aspect, but I haven't decided what else to put there, and it works well, so I enjoy it. I'm going to leave it there. So again, total armor, max life, and resistances if you need them capped. And if you don't, then put some damage reduction there as well. Ghostwalkers, this is mandatory. This has saved me so many times. Don't do Abattoir without Ghostwalkers, honestly. Like, I wouldn't. And again, with my boots, I need more max evade. Evade. And I only have one, but I need at least two. So if you have boots that have 2 or 3 charges, then definitely use those. Next is we use the accelerating. So this is good because we critical strike quite often. So this is definitely good. You want a high roll on this. More criticals, more weapon swaps. It gets perfect. So what I want now, which I don't have, is I want strength, all stat, vulnerable damage, and damage while berserking. Critical strike is still good. So this is still very, all these pieces are still really, really well rolled. But I would like to have, perfectly would be strength, all stat, vulnerable, and damage while berserking with all 4 of these pieces. But I don't have that for either of them. But I do have strength, vulnerable, berserking. Damage to bleeding is okay. Strength, vulnerable, berserking, damage to close is better. So I'd say if you can't get the 4 that I mentioned earlier, I would say go for strength, vulnerable, berserking, damage to close, or damage to core skill. And on this one, so we use rapid. I like having fast basic attacks. This one, I have battle mad, so we do a lot of weapon swapping. And it's an easy way for berserking, but I'm thinking about changing out this for edge masters. So because really we do our shouts all the time, so we do have quite a bit of berserking. So this isn't really needed, but at the time I didn't have a good edge master roll, so I put this on to see how it worked. But I'll probably switch out for edge master. Earth Striker. This is absolutely phenomenal, and what I didn't realize, which I found out by accident by having this on and this, is that Earth Striker always procs gushing wounds. Overpowering a bleeding enemy causes an explosion that inflicts bleeding damage. With our 2 skills here, that's a bleed skill. And that's a bleed skill. So you are constantly proccing gushing wounds, which is absolutely amazing. Next one, slaking. You could go slaking or unrelenting fury, either or. That's fine. But you're looking for critical strike, vulnerable, damage with berserking. And in my opinion, one with resource gen and one with like health would be ideal as well. I don't have one with health at the moment, but that would, in my opinion, be ideal. The second one, we have Bold Chieftain. So this is a triple shout build. You want the 1.9 seconds instead of what I have, the 1.4. But again, max critical strike chance, vulnerable damage, damage while berserking. Physical damage is also great, but it's unfortunately a low roll. But if you could put health or resource gen, that would also be great. This is the only unique that we use, the Banished Lord's Talisman. This is amazing, and this is because the critical strike chance is so high, that's good. The ranks to all core skills is what I originally had this for, and then once I realized the overpower procs Gushing Wounds, this is now amazing, so I love it. If for some reason you don't have this, I would have something like this. So this has percent to strength, total armor, damage reduction, cooldown reduction. And if, but the aspect is garbage. I put any aspect you want. I would say use a defensive aspect. Maybe some more damage reduction, maybe some more fortify. Or you could, I don't know if you, no you can't. I was going to say if you could put Bold Chieftains there, but nah, Bold Chieftains for rings only. But yeah, I would say do another defensive aspect. Maybe like the bleeding one that gives you damage reduction. I forget what that one's called. Iron Blood. You can put like Iron Blood on there or something for more damage reduction. But this would be a good alternative to the Banished Lords, like these stats. But yeah, the overpower proc for Gushing Wounds, didn't see that, and it works amazing. Vampiric Powers, we have Undying for more health. We have Sanguine Embrace for more fortify and critical strike chance. We have Metamorphosis, so we can proc Flowing Veins, and also another way to be unstoppable. And we have Resilience for more damage reduction. And we do take Flowing Veins for two reasons. A, for the for the synergy with Metamorphosis, but also in this build we rend and then we walk away. So as soon as they walk, they are now inflicted with 60% more damage over time. So that's awesome. Expertise is Axe. The abilities, we take Flay. So if I did have Lunging Strike on here first, but this does not proc Gushing Wounds. I have tried this so many times, and it will not proc Gushing Wounds. So to make sure that Gushing Wounds procs all the time, you want to take Flay. And in my opinion, Battle Flay is just a no-brainer because we are a bleed build. Then we take Rend with, of course, Enhanced and Violent because we want to deal as much damage as possible. And we get more life, and we have some more damage reduction. We are a triple shout build, so we do take all three shouts. And we do take Booming Voice, so we can shout for longer. Every time we berserk, we get more damage reduction. I still like to use movement speed because I think the faster you are, the faster sometimes you can walk away from things that proc on the ground and have a big AoE. Because I don't have any evade, I only have one charge. Down here we take Pit Fighter. If you want to shuffle some points around, you technically could take Slaying Strike, but with the huge bleeds, I don't really think it's necessary, but it would still be a good choice. And then we take 1 point in Hamstring to get cut to the bone. And when we fortify, we deal more damage. Down here, heavy-handed, we critical strike all the time, so we deal more damage. And down here, we take 1 point here so that we get more fury when we swap weapons. And we also get more life once we use Rend 3 times in a row. So, and then we have Wrath of Berserker here. And of course, Gushing Wounds. So the easiest way to proc Gushing Wounds is keep going back and forth between your basic, so between Flay and Rend. So that is the fastest way to do it. And on Flay, make sure you have it on dual wield. And then for Rend, make sure you have it on, your just two-handed slashing. So you can just use square and it'll actually change, by the way. And if you see it also, you'll see the damage profile up top there. The numbers change too, which is kind of cool. So yeah, you need to have one on slashing and one on dual wield. And of course, we want this on dual wield because, this will actually proc faster, which is our basic attack speed. With rapid, works even better. Okay, Paragon board. So our first board here. I put the glyph here because right now with the 4 space, this is the most bang for your buck for this board. But you path up both sides, and you take, you path up this way. But every core skill gives you a damage buff, which is awesome. But this glyph does take a long time to level up. I'm on level 3, yeah. Oops. Okay, second board is Blood Rage. So I took these points out here to get more physical damage. I'll talk about that in a second. And we use Ire for this damage buff, which is now at 73%. We take these nodes up here. We go over to the Hemorrhage board, which is 59% at the moment. And we have Mortal Draws, which also increases our critical strike chance, which is huge. So we're critical. We pretty much crit, I would say, almost every... I don't know. It seems like we crit all the time. And down here, I put Might in here so I could have more vulnerable damage. So right here, we get more vulnerable damage, which is increasing this. So that's awesome. And this board is Decimator, and the Decimator board is amazing. And we proc, the vulnerable damage is increased by 10 times, and the overpowering also works. So that's huge. Take as much vulnerable damage as you can. See, I need to get some more willpower, but anyway. And we want to take this over here for more physical damage. And we only take this for the vulnerable damage, and these 2 nodes for vulnerable as well. Then our last board is Carnage. And we have Exploit. So Exploit is in this board. Once our glyph gets to level 5, I haven't decided if I want to put it into this board or if I want to put it into this board. Honestly, it'll probably be this one, but it'll be a lot of rearranging because, these boards here, I guess actually we should put it in this board once we reach level 5. And we'd probably cut this board out completely, potentially, and just go for this. But that's hard to say because this board is still needed. And this board is still needed as well. And this board is definitely still needed for obvious reasons. Like damage reduction, berserking, but I'm not hitting those... I'm not hitting the requirements, and if we got rid of a board, we would. And honestly, this board here, strength to bleed, damage to bleeding enemies, that's great, but it's not really as good as we have here, like straight damage reduction and straight berserk damage. So yeah, so once that glyph gets level 5, the Paragon board will change. But for the moment, this is what it looks like. Well, thanks for checking out the build, and I feel like this build, more or less anyone should be able to do it, as it doesn't need any uniques. Because again, you could put on an amulet with that isn't a unique amulet, and like the only things that are critical to this build would be like the Earth Striker, the Ghost Walker, and Bold Chieftains. Like, those three really are important. Of course, Might, Disobedience goes for anything. Expectant is pretty easy to get. So I feel like anyone can kind of make this build. Anyway, if you like it, let me know. If you try it, let me know how it goes. And I'll see you guys in the next one.